Good evening, everyone. It is Friday, June 17th, 2022. Welcome to the Keeping It Real Conversations show with your host, Camila, aka Sunshine. We are live on Twitch, Spotify, the YouTube channel, of course, is the name of the show. We are live on my Facebook page, which is Sunshine Camila, Kamela, even though that's not how you really spell my name. But however, find us however you need to. I'm going to open it up right now for everybody to get in, join in, share, like, subscribe, do all that wonderful things. Of course, if you have been following me already, you know that I believe in 6 degrees of separation. You are one person away, one advice away, one help away from where you need to be in your destiny. This wonderful man, of course, how must I say? I'm biased because I love all my guests. I think they're dope. Some of the best people on the planet. And I have a special connection to this person. We are related. We are Johnsons. So I'm going to get into his bio real quick, and then we're going to get into that conversation. I did name this show Against All Odds. And we're gonna get into what does that look like for him and what I meant by that when I said it. Again, let's get into his bio real quick once I find it. I just had it somewhere. Lord Jesus. Is this it? It is. So, Mr. Romain Johnson Jr., that is. Hopefully his dad comes on today. Hopefully. Born and raised in Pontiac, Michigan, he grew up as an athlete playing multiple sports, and that's what Johnsons do, for the record. But his main focus was football. He got recruited to play Division III football at Lakeland University, where he was a 3-year starter, a 2-time All-Conference linebacker, and majored in communication with an emphasis on, is it rhetoric? Rhetoric and public communication. Shortly after college, he started his career off in sales as an IT recruiter. He's had various inside and outside sales experience, most recently being a life insurance agent. As of now, he works full time as a call center flex trainer for Mad City Windows and Bath, where he helps new hires train on a monthly basis while also setting appointments for advisors to come to close on home improvement projects they requested information on. He is happily married to his wife, Alexandria. What's her middle name?
Well, her last name is Lazenby. It's Lazenby Johnson. Yeah.
Johnson, that is. Going on 3 years, and they have 2 dogs named Lucy and what is that?
Khaleesi. Like Game of
Okay.
If you ever seen Game of Thrones?
No, I have not.
You should watch that. It's dope.
He is currently in Madison, Wisconsin. And again, he is also a licensed field underwriter and policy broker, Family First Life, co founder, chief operating officer. Excuse me. Um, what is this other part? I can't see it. It's cut off.
Yes, that's my email signature. I gotta update that because I'm technically not with Family First Life anymore, but we'll get into that.
So, however, I want everybody to welcome my cousin, Romain Johnson Jr.
How you doing?
I can't complain. It is Friday.
Yeah, definitely a good day.
Absolutely, it is a good day. So, what have you been up to, sir?
Nothing really. I've just kind of been like focusing on myself, really trying to get back to, I hit a low last year, so just really been focusing on me, trying to make things better.
So I named the show when I first reached out to him. I actually reached out to him and his dad. Eventually, I will get his dad on the show. He said he would, and so I had to find a time for his dad to come on. Against all odds, when I when I reached out, I had an idea that me and him have talked off screen with our health. Um, and I'll let him get into that. So when we had the conversation, what were we talking about? Uh-oh. Hold on, you guys. Hold on, you guys. Hold on, hold on. Let's see. You
Did
back
I cut
in?
out? My bad. I'm sorry.
I,
Was that my connection?
I don't know.
Man, that was weird. I
So
apologize.
so we were talking about our health situation. So inform the people what we were talking about.
I missed. I totally blacked out. I didn't even know what you asked. I apologize. Can you repeat it?
We were talking about our health, and I was
Mm-hmm.
asking you to let the people know what we were talking about concerning it.
Oh, like regulating our diabetes and things like that. Yeah. So I mean, that's one thing I've been focusing on. As of this year in particular, I had some pre-existing health conditions, so I've just trying to been taking better steps with bettering my health. You know what I mean? Because I don't know if you know, but I went blind in my right eye because of the diabetes. I wasn't managing the way it was supposed to. So I've just been taking more, like I've been taking a lot of intentional steps to better my health with like my eating habits. I've been trying to lose weight. I've been in the gym, trying to kind of maintain my sugars that way, but also having a glucose monitor on me, trying to make sure that I can, check my blood sugars regularly and things like that. But it's definitely been a struggle. The first, I want to say, like, I say the first 25 years of my life, I wasn't as careful with taking care of myself as I should have been. So then, when I had turned 26, that's when things kind of went south. And they were telling me, all the doctors were telling me every year, every time I go to the doctor, they're like, by the age of 25, complications may occur. You could have a foot cut off, a limb cut off. You could go blind in your eyes. Like there's a lot of things that can happen if you're not managing the way you're supposed to manage it. And sure enough, by the time I was 26 years old, I had a retinal detachment in my right eye, and I had to go through 3 different procedures to try to reattach my retina. So, it's an everyday reminder to myself because I'm completely blind right now in my right eye because of the scar tissue. So it's just a constant reminder that I got to make sure that I take care of how I eat, take care of myself, make sure I regulate my blood sugars because it's something that it could take me out. I mean, we lost the auntie because of diabetes. You know what I mean? So it's something that is real, real, real serious, right? You know what I mean?
So for you, if I'm not mistaken, you were actually born with it.
Actually, no, I was 4 years old when I was diagnosed.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was. I mean, I had 4 years, just doing what I wanted to do, eating candy, not having to worry about it. But yeah, I think I really don't remember the exact situation, how it happened. I just know, like kind of fell out. Pops and my mom had to rush me to the hospital. This was when we were living in Buffalo. We was living in Niagara Falls, and they rushed me to the Buffalo Children's Hospital because that's the next major city closest to Niagara Falls. And I woke up the next day or so, and they told me that I had type 1 diabetes, and I didn't even know what it was about. I had no idea that my whole life had changed. And honestly, like I don't know anything different because I've been a diabetic for over 24 years now. So it's the only thing that I know.
From my understanding, a lot of stuff when it comes to diseases, some things that we have inherited traits. We also have another cousin that's a little bit older than you
Hmm.
who also has complications with diabetes.
Yep.
And she also went blind. So this is also my against all odds to attach it with faith, of course, attach it with um, doing things to make your life better. We want to live a full, healthy life,
Yeah.
but sometimes you might have complications that deter you from having a healthy life.
Right.
But against all odds, you were actually um, encouraging me. For people don't know, I am also diabetic. I'm not borderline. I am diabetic. Um, and I chose at one point to ignore, not accept, um, live as if I don't. And I know the effects of it. It deals with everything, sight, for women, constant yeast infections. It deals with your, I won't say sexual appetite. That's not the word.
I mean, it does. It has an effect on your hormones and things like that. You know what I mean? Like the blood sugar levels can it messes up a lot of things. Like it has a lot to do with a lot of things. You know, like having too much sugar in your body or not enough sugar in your body can, be detrimental to your entire body. It's a growth hormone, so it has to. It's literally necessary for your body to function properly because organs and things like that operate and go that way. So it has effect on everything. Walking. I mean, when like
Yes.
sugar is too low,
Neuropathy and all of this, your body go numb, and
every
um your feet swell, all types of things. And we don't sometimes we don't understand the consequences or the repercussions of not eating right or
exactly.
not going to the doctor regularly. um and because some things that are traded, you really need to stay on top of it.
Yeah,
um and so me and him had a conversation of eating right on purpose. And some days I'm good at it, and some days I'm not.
man,
Um,
we all guilty for that one. I promise you that.
so again, it's the encouragement for me to know that I have cousins that are younger than me who have had these complications. Like I said, I have two, he's included. I have another cousin who went blind or currently is blind due to complications of diabetes. So I wanted to have this conversation because we sometimes put diseases in a box to say only elderly people get diseases. And we know for a fact that is not true. If you
Right.
were diagnosed as a type 1 diabetic, um, you were 4, not 65.
4 years old.
So again, these are some awareness conversations that we need to have. Um, it's not a black thing either. We assume all of these things. We just gonna put these in a box and
Hmm.
say, "Oh, only black people get diabetes because we're the main ones not eating right. We're putting sugar in everything. Blame our parents for introducing us to Kool-Aid."
Right.
And yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I had a coworker at my last when I worked at the university that right before I left, we hired him in a couple months in, but he was type 1 diabetic, white dude from Utah, like Mormon, you know what I mean? Like anybody, it can happen to anybody at any age, you know what I mean? And then now, back when I got diagnosed when I was a kid, it used to be labeled juvenile diabetes because the majority of people that received type 1 diabetes were anywhere between the age of 0 to 1 years old. You know what I mean? Not one, but 5 years old. So a lot of kids and adolescents were the ones getting type 1 diabetes. But now research have shown and studies have shown that adults are getting type 1 diabetes at 25, 30 years old. They've had it for years and didn't know it. They like, I can't put on no weight. I can't, I can't put on no weight and I'm always thirsty. I just, I've been like this for years. Like, yeah, you're probably type 1 diabetic, man. You got to figure that out. Type 1 if not type 2. So I think, like, I don't know, a lot of people are scared of the doctors, and things like that. I mean, you got to figure it out because you're not going to know but until it's too late. You know what I'm saying? So you got to figure that out. Be more preventive.
Also to add on to that, I had two grandmas. Actually, both my grandmas on both sides of my family had complications with diabetes. and
Yep.
they both were cut on, amputation, and not too long after that, they wasn't here any longer. And I had a conversation today with a coworker, and one of their family members is in the hospital right now, and they're deciding, is today the day, or are we gonna amputate a foot?
Hmm.
And it hit me like a brick, because at the end of the day, that could be me.
Yep.
Because you sometimes you just don't want to face the music that you're dealing with this, and you're reaching out for help, but you're still doing the old habits.
Right.
I'm not just talking about a conversation that, because my cousin is here, I'm just gonna just, paint this beautiful picture. I'm telling on myself. Um, Especially when you have an office job, right? And all you're doing to stay awake is eating junk.
Drinking coffee with 15 cups of sugar in it.
Oh, I don't do the coffee. I'm like Mountain Dew and frappes,
Yeah,
okay?
that's the saying. Yes, it's sugary. Things like pop, like that. I cut all that out. One aha moment that I had, as of recent, with it, like kind of like what all brought this together for me at the beginning of the year is that my wife, my wife's family, my father-in-law has a best friend, right? And so his wife was a diabetic, and I met her a couple years ago, and it was kind of like, you ever seen, like, I don't know, like we watch our parents get old and we see them kind of go through their highs and lows of their lives, and to ultimately they pass away. But I was kind of the same situation with this lady, but we seen diabetes literally eat her entire life away, right? So when I met her, she was walking, she was able, she was blind in one eye due to the diabetes, but she was eating whatever she wanted. And then maybe, like, I want to say maybe a year or two later, she got put on dialysis, and she had to, like, she was running late to events and things like that because she had to go to dialysis two, 3 times a week. You know what I'm saying? And then maybe like a year or two later, she had her foot cut off. Right, her foot was cut. I think it was the left. I think it was either the left leg, left foot, or the right foot. One of the two foots got cut off. She was on the walker now. She was in really bad shape. Still eating stuff. She won. While my father-in-law is really famous for his dressing within the family, so she won a whole pan of dressing. That's nothing but chicken and cornbread in a pan put together. You know what I'm saying? So, like, she's eating stuff like that in the hospital, ultimately until her death. You know what I mean? Like, she passed away, well, I want to say within the last year or so, due to diabetes. You know what I'm saying? Type 1 diabetes. She had it since she was like 15 years old, and it was like it's one of those things that can take a while for you to take you out, and you can see kind of people suffering. You know what I'm saying? Like, literally, like, without, like, you don't realize how important having both eyes is until you lose one. You know what I mean? Messes with your depth perception, just the ability to knowing that you have both eyes that are functional, you know what I'm saying? Things like that. Then, if I'm losing a leg or another limb or a finger or something due to the neuropathy, it's a slow process that ultimately I don't want to see myself go through. But we don't have kids yet. Me and my wife, we're working on that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want my kids to see me going through that. You know what I mean? Like, I want to be here and I want to be able for them, when they get into that age of, young kids to all the way up until young adults, where I can help them out with things, teaching them how to play sports, helping them move into their first apartment, helping them move into college. You know what I'm saying? Being there, walking my daughter down the aisle. If I have a daughter, walking her down, literally walking my daughter down the aisle to give her away to her future husband. You know what I mean? Those are the things that I dream of, that I want to have happen. But I know that if I was going the path that I was going, even this time last year, like, I wouldn't be able to do that. I won't be able to do that because something's gonna get cut off. I might go blind in my next eye. Who knows? It's a slippery slope if I would have stayed on that path. So, doing things more intentional to make sure that I can be healthy as I can. And it's a struggle every day. Like, I'd be lying if I didn't say that I didn't struggle with my sugar every day. If I didn't struggle with sweets, because I got a sweet tooth that's just really bad. Like, I would be lying if I didn't say I wouldn't go through those things, but I'm only human. But if I'm more intentional with it, if I know, like, all right, let me put this down, let me pick up an apple. You know what I mean? Like, instead of just sitting down in the morning and not doing anything, let me go work out. You know what I'm saying? Kind of just doing things more intentional with my time and with my energy to make sure that I'm here in the long run. 'Cause I've seen
At
people.
one point, there was a conversation about like bitter milling, which is so nasty, but it's good for you for diabetes.
What is that?
Also,
It's
as
nasty.
you get, man,
I can only imagine. I can only imagine.
yeah, it's but uh, it's supposed to be good for you.
Yeah.
Also, I was told um putting okra in a water jug overnight in the refrigerator.
Hmm.
Okra is good.
Okay.
And drinking that, um, it's a decision that has to be made.
Right.
There was a process also when I was going to fertility doctors.
Hmm.
Um, they were like, I really don't really want to go through the process with you because your sugar is so high. And going through pregnancy of with high numbers is detrimental to both you and the baby.
Wow.
And I didn't. I was being selfish, and I didn't realize that it's a lot of strain on your body. This is why it's so important that even getting to the point that you want to have a child, you have to prepare your body to carry full term.
Hmm.
And that's eating right, that's exercising, that's all these things all wrapped into one. Because guess what? Your baby is going to be eating everything that you're eating. So again, you're four. Imagine right in the womb eating sugar, 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 sugar.
Right.
It's going to affect your baby.
Yep. Then
And
they be
so,
like it's just
yeah,
they was born into it. Like, man.
yeah. And so one of the things that I promised myself, because I remember Big Mama um, pricking her finger all the time.
Hmm.
She after a while she didn't like it or she didn't have any feelings in
Hmm.
her fingertips
Yep.
or just watching her over years, even though Big Mom was older, much older, but again, if not for this disease, possibly she might have lived longer.
Right.
Um, and so I just said I didn't want to be the one sticking myself every day.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
My numbers were so high. The last time I went to the doctor, and I'm not going to tell you when that was, but my my level was 14. The normal range supposed to be what, 5, 6?
But yeah, you talk about A1C. Yeah, it's about 5 to 6. Is that what they was for average person? They want you to be around 5 or 6.
I was 14. Now,
Yeah.
one of the things I was getting the physical for Chrysler. Now, at the time, I was moving from Alabama back to Detroit, and I went to the clinic to go get your physical done.
Hmm.
And the lady runs out literally. She said, "I don't know if you're going to be able to get this job." I said, "Huh?" I'm like, "I don't do drugs, so what you talking about?"
Right.
She said, "I don't even know how you're alive." I said, "What do you mean?" She said, "Well, when we test your urine, you basically are urinating sugar." My numbers was that high.
Whoa. Yeah. Had nowhere
And
else.
she's nowhere else to go. So she said, "I can't release you for this job until you are actually under a doctor's care."
Mm.
And this was 2014. And so I never knew. So let's break it down for people who don't know the signs for being diabetic. And one of the main things that I just thought, hey, I'm seriously thirsty. Thirst.
Yeah,
is one of the biggest signs
one of the biggest indicators. Yeah.
that your sugar is off.
Yep.
What are a few more things that people need to look for? Well, we're not saying you have it, but some things that you might not be aware of that you need to go get checked.
I think like if you're like frequent urination, you know what I mean? Like, because I know when my sugar is like running really high, especially for a really long time, I gotta use the bathroom like every 30 minutes. Like it's just like it comes like it's like you can never stop using the bathroom. And then obviously you're drinking more and more water, so that brings it up to like it's like that kind of like a cycle there. Um, I know when it comes to like lows, like it's like when a person has a low for whatever reason, if you don't know what's going on, it's like they're drunk, and that's why like they want diabetics to stay away from like drinking alcohol because you can't tell the difference between somebody that has a super low blood sugar or somebody that's belligerently drunk. It was really bad in my case. I'm living in Wisconsin, and when I moved to college, like that was the first thing I got introduced to was drinking. And so I'm drinking like a fish. I'm doing everything. I'm going crazy. It was situations where, my sugar could have been super low, or my sugar could be super high. You know what I mean? And so it was just a really slippery slope there. But I think that like like if somebody hasn't been drinking and they're acting like they've been under the influence of anything, definitely see if they need to check the doctor, maybe just get checked out. um I mean, really,
There's
like
the
weight,
shakes.
the shakes, yeah, like your weight too. Like if you like having a hard time like putting on weight,
Mm-hmm.
insulin, like I mentioned earlier, is a growth hormone. So like if you eat naturally, you're supposed to, if you eat more calories than your body maintains for your maintenance level for your weight, you're supposed to gain weight. Well, a lot of people, who have diabetes, tend to run skinnier. They don't know, you know what I mean? And so when you start getting on that insulin, it actually helps fill you out, puts you like to your normal potential body with the calories that you've been intaking. So just like that happened to a buddy that I was working with a couple of jobs ago at Exact Sciences in Madison. He didn't even know he was diabetic. He went to the doctor. He's like, man, I'm trying to put on weight. He's like, oh, they looked and like, oh yeah, he like looked like you have type 1 diabetes, and he didn't even know it. It was like 5 years. He was showing me pictures of himself like a year ago, where he was just like skin and bones. He thinking it's normal. The whole time he was a diabetic. So it's those things like I think going to the doctor regularly, like at least once a year, helps out, like helps a lot with preventative measures, either with your heart, with diabetes, with cancer, anything. Just get regular, like get a blood work done once a year. Just see a doctor. I don't know why we so like, especially black people, I guess. Trauma, you know what I'm saying, like with the different experiments in our community and stuff like that, we don't want to see doctors, and we don't want to face that doctor bill. But I feel like it's a necessity. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You're not gonna know until you go. You know what I'm saying? So that was one of my biggest things. One of my biggest things. I was avoiding the doctor like crazy because I know as soon as I take my blood, my A1C at one point in time was 13. You know what I mean? So it was up there with yours. You know how you were a couple years ago. So it's those things like you got to face that. You got to see it, for what it is, and then make strategic plans to try to fix whatever was going on, if there is anything going on, and then be preventative, for what might come. You know what I'm saying? Things like that.
I have a conversation with my mom every day. And she texts me what her sugar is every day,
Yeah.
because those moments, for those who don't know, there is such a thing as a diabetic coma, where your sugar is too low or it's too high and you don't wake up.
Yep.
And so we recently had, and she takes hers faithfully. She's on insulin, and um, her sugar was too low overnight. And so she caught herself sleeping later than she normally did because her sugar had dropped to like 90. That's too low for her. And so I'm like, Ma, at nighttime, if you gotta eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, or so your sugar stay at a certain level while you're asleep, so you're able to wake up the next day.
Hmm.
Lucky for us, blessings for us, she has an appointment with her doctor on Monday, because again, I don't want to have the conversation with my siblings to say, you know what, diabetes took mom out, and it's a conscious decision. My mom used to drink Mountain Dew like it was water, cases,
Yeah, daily.
daily,
Mhm.
daily, until I want to. I don't. I can't remember if it was before my dad passed away or after. Like, she didn't drink water, so it wasn't flushing out the sugar as well. So now she barely drinks pop. She drinks water like she's a fish.
Mhm.
She can't keep it in the house now, which is a night and day from where she was. So again, there's the conscious decisions that we have to make as people, as humans, that you want to live,
Yeah,
whatever disease it is. Until God heals you, you still have to make those decisions and those steps to stay healthy. I'm not just talking to you. I'm not just talking out in the air. I'm talking to myself as well. I have no excuse. I've seen the worst, not just in my family members, not just in my friends and neighbors. I saw it in myself, wondering why at 300 and something pounds I couldn't lose weight. And then you know your triggers.
Mhm.
So again, this is the conversation against all odds, because I want to live. I got things to do, people
Right.
to see. I
Right.
got connections to make.
Most definitely.
So, with that being said, how do you feel? Um, is there anything that you want to say to people as how old are you now?
I'm 28.
And you're blind, completely blind in one eye.
Yeah, for them. Yeah, yeah. I can't see anything.
And so what does that look like for um your everyday movement?
I mean, like you adjust to it, right? Because like it happened a couple years ago when it first happened. So like I haven't had my right eye, for a couple of years now. So I mean, I've adjusted to it. You know what I mean? But it's one of those things that it's like I said before. It's a constant reminder that I need to make sure that I stay on top of things. I need to stay on top of my health. It's really puts things in perspective that it can happen to you. I think we have this like false sense of security as humans. You know what I'm saying? And like like oh that like that never happened to me. Like I ain't worried about that. Like I was infamous for that. Like I lived my life with no regrets, and I don't regret the way that I did live my life because I wouldn't be here and be able to tell my story and be able to tell people like, look, you need to really take care of yourself because this can't happen to you. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't be able to have that, be able to talk from that experience if I didn't, live the way I did live. You know what I mean? But it's just one of those things that like I got to take it for what it is. Like I can legally drive. My left eye is really great. It's 20/20 vision in that eye. So I do what I got to do to make things happen. I'm blessed and fortunate that I can see at least out of one eye. I have all my limbs and my toes, and I can feel everything, and I'm not, in constant pain and things like that. Like I'm fortunate for that. I just know that if it happened to me, it can happen to anybody when it comes to the eye situation. So it's
Yes.
really got to just be intentional with what you do and how you do it when it comes to your life, because you only got one life to live. You know what I mean? You got to take it day by day. So just you know don't don't think like, okay, I got till tomorrow, because tomorrow might not come.
Mm-mm. Like I said, with the personal experiences, what made me go to the doctor was, I'm like, as a female, am I constantly getting yeast infections? I'm like,
Yeah,
I ain't doing nothing. What the heck? What is?
but that can happen. But that's eye
And the
opening.
doctor said that was one of the signs, especially in females,
Hmm.
that your sugar is out of control.
Yeah,
And it was, throw metformin at you. Oh, you can't do the regular dosage. You got to do the highest. Oh, you got to do metformin and insulin. Oh, You, I'm like, mm-mm.
Yeah. They tried to hit me with that. I'm actually I'm on the Cinepro now to to protect my kidneys. It's preventative measure. You know what I mean? But those are the things that happen. You know what I'm saying? Because like even though I'm not old, like when I was selling life insurance, I would like Lisinopril is to help protect like it's for kidneys. You know what I'm saying? Like to protect your kidneys and stuff like that. I'm looking at prescriptions for people to help them out to figure out what insurance carrier they can qualify for. Like I'm talking to people 50, 60, 70 years old, with these type of medications. I'm 28 on that medication now. You know what I'm saying? So it just puts things into perspective that like, you know, you got to take care of yourself, because with like, pre-existing health conditions and diseases, like they age differently than you do, even though I'm not old, my diabetes is old. So I have to make sure that I can protect my body in the best way possible and preserve it so I can live as long as I can. But
And
it's,
people don't talk about this either. I mean, even though our doctors, first things first, and then you do have holistic doctors
yeah.
as well, of not doing pills, or make sure you're eating your greens and things of that nature. Um, but insulin is, and when he mentions kidneys, insulin affects your kidneys. And so I was like, I don't want to shoot myself. I don't want to, have the conversation about kidneys at all. That was one of my dad's issues.
Hmm.
And so I saw the dialysis, I saw all of that. That's not what I want at all. I've seen somebody be Superman to kidneys issues was his kryptonite. And eventually, over time, what I remembered of him, he ended up being in a wheelchair and not being able to walk. The way he lived his life, he couldn't live it like that no more. And dad was still young. He passed away before he was 60. So again, this conversation is needed, because we glorify a lot of things, but we don't really talk about our health until it's too late.
Exactly. But then we're reactive. We're trying to like, oh no, oh no, oh no.
Right.
When we need to be like preventative.
Absolutely. So, what does that preventative looks like with your wife, who now is um, oneness with the disease because you have it?
Yeah.
So, how does that conversation go?
I mean, she's on me like she wants to make sure, that I'm here. You know what I'm saying? Like wants like she has a vision that, she has like an ideal situation that in our kids' lives, and I'm here with her, to the very end. You know what I mean? And it upsets her, like when my eye first happened, like I think she cried more than I did, to be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like a direct effect on her in her life. You know what I mean? Because she's somebody like she loves me, and I love her, to death. You know what I mean? So she's really intentional with, getting the right foods, making sure that I'm taking my medicine every morning, every day. She randomly asked me like, "What's your sugar looking like? What's going on?" You know what I'm saying? Like she's in the conversation with the doctors. You know what I'm saying? When she's available, you know what I mean? Like she wants to make sure that it's taken care of because it sucks. But like you were saying at the beginning of the conversation, it's genetics, right? Like Big Mama had diabetes. My dad has diabetes. My mom has diabetes. I have diabetes. Like there's odds are that if I have, five kids or four kids, one of them may have diabetes based on just odds. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
None of them might not have diabetes. Maybe all of them might have diabetes. God forbid. That would be like the worst situation ever. You know what I'm saying? But it's a possibility. You know what I mean? We've had our aunt, one of our aunts, one of our older aunts, on Rochelle, she passed away due to diabetes. You know what I mean? Like it's just a reality that like any type of disease can take you out. Diabetes is prevalent in our families and other families, but it could be cancer, it could be any other situation that you got to make sure that you're on top of that and you eating right and being healthy and doing what you need to do because it could take anybody. It really doesn't care. Any disease doesn't care.
Right. At the end of the day, now we're not saying that when I say against all odds, he has a new way of making sure his sugar stays level.
Oh yeah.
And since then, what he's on and having the I'll let him explain that.
Hmm.
He has his numbers have basically completely went down.
Yeah.
And diabetes is not a death sentence, just like cancer or any other disease. If
Exactly.
you do what needs to be done, you still can live a healthy life.
Yeah.
So tell them what procedures or what you're doing now to make sure that your levels stay level.
Yeah. So first things first. I mean, I started meeting with my doctor regularly. So I met with my primary care doctor at the beginning of the year. He got me in tune with some diabetes education nurses that help me out with regulating how much insulin I should take, how often I should take my insulin. I do a carb count, so I count how many carbs I'm intaking during my meals, and then I take a certain amount of units for that. So just having those strategic plans and those conversations is one thing. But I also have a glucose monitor on my side right now, so I change it every 10 days from side to side. But basically, what it does is it sends glucose readings to my phone every 5 minutes. And so when my sugar is running too high, it'll send me an alert, like I know it'll vibrate or ring. Sugar's running too high. I need to do something to make sure that I can bring it back down. And it does on the vice versa end where my sugar's too low, and let me knows that I need to take measures, whether I need to eat something with carbs or sugar in it to boost my sugar levels back up. And I went from like my highest A1C, which is basically my blood sugar levels being 13 a couple years ago, to my last levels this past, I want to say in June, or not June, but I want to say in May, I believe I took my labs then. I was at a 7.2, you know, so it almost cut in half, from a couple years ago to now. I'm almost at perfect. I'm not perfect yet. There's some things that I'm still working with and things like that. But being it's even better than nine. With I think last year was like nine. So now from 9 to 7 within a year, just by changing, a few habits that, with how I'm eating, who I'm talking with, and how I'm regulating my insulin and monitoring my blood sugars, it's only going to go up from here. So just doing those things has really changed in the short term, and it's only going to get better in the long term as long as I stay consistent.
So with you being an athlete, do you feel like mentally um this is a breeze for you or no?
Nah, this shit hard. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cuss. I apologize. It's hard though. Like it's so hard. I honestly, like, it's really hard because, like, I feel like being an athlete, like, you work out, you study your plays, you practice your plays, and you go out there and you have fun. You want to do that. With diabetes, like, I didn't want to have diabetes. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to have to monitor my blood sugar. Like there's been many of times where I just give it up. Like, I don't care. Like, if it kills me, it kills me. Like, like, I've had situations. I've been really low because of diabetes, where like suicide came into thoughts. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been there. Like, I've been there. To be honest with you, like, to be completely 100%. So, like, diabetes is probably the worst thing that I've been through, that I've gone through in my entire life. Like, so I feel like if I could wake up every day and master and kind of tackle this thing head on, then I can take on anything. But to say it's easy, like, it's not easy. Some days are better than others, but it's not easy because it can be one thing that I can eat or drink. You know what I'm saying? That my sugar go from 110 to 300, like, in 20 minutes. Like, that has happened. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then I can't, like, say I don't take enough insulin for my meal. You know what I'm saying? Now I gotta wait 4 hours to take some more insulin, and now my sugar is at 320. For 4 hours, and now I'm physically feeling that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then vice versa. If my sugar's too low, I'm sitting here panicking. I'm trying to eat everything that I could possibly eat. Next thing you know, boom, 400, 300. You know what I mean? So it's a struggle. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes you got to ride those things out. So like to be honest with you, I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy because it's one of those things that it's like, man, like I really got to watch what I eat. I got to watch what I drink. You know, I can't like when I work out. You know, like I work out every day now. I work out 5 days a week. You know, just trying to get back into shape and things like that. My blood sugar levels spike every time I work out, and I gotta account for that when I'm taking insulin and I'm eating things too. You know what I mean? So it's a struggle. I ain't even gonna hold you. To say it's easy, it's not easy because it's just yeah, it's different. It's a different beat, and it's hard to explain because I don't know anything else.
Well, the thing is, when you have things, I tell people this all the time. As having conversations with people, you don't realize that you have more in common than you do different. And
Hmm.
so when you think of teammates, when you think of when you're on a team, you got the strong ones, then you got the weak ones. But those weak ones draw strength from the stronger ones. Next thing you know, we all on the same page. But however, there are people who stay behind. They come to practice early. They stay behind, be the last one off the field. At the end of the day, whatever they're searching for, they will find.
Hmm.
They'll get better because they want to get better.
Exactly.
They're doing the extra steps. They're doing the extra work. So when a coach finds out you're getting more time, get the most improved, all of these different things, and not just because you get it from them, but you see the results in yourself.
Exactly.
This is why I have you here, because against all odds, when you get the doctor report and it says, hey, your numbers is 13, your number is 14, and you're supposed to be at this.
Hmm.
Wow. Let me sit here and take this all in. Now that I have had this conversation, and I have seen the tapes. I have seen the funeral arrangements. I have seen the reports of somebody being amputated on. I have seen all of that.
Hmm.
What do you want to do?
Exactly.
Nobody's gonna make you do anything. It's choices and decisions. Whatever and however you choose to live, it's on you. You can't blame your parents. You can't blame the devil. You can't blame nobody. Because guess what? Now I'm looking at somebody right here on this screen to say, against all odds, he did it. He's doing it. So make up your mind. What you gonna do?
Yeah. We all got options.
All day you got options. He got a whole wife, 2 dogs, trying to make sure and he provides for his family. Just because he is just only have one eye right now does not mean he's shutting down and letting this disease take over. No. And we have to have this conversation again. I will reiterate, it is not an age or a race thing. So again, we want people to understand that disease come for you, but don't mean I got to stay in it.
Hmm.
And I have to make the conscious decision to, instead of a pop or wherever you are, if you say soda or Coke, whatever you want to say, I have to get some water. Instead of popping candy, I need to get a piece of fruit,
Hmm.
do a smoothie, and still, even in that, be careful because some fruit still have sugar in it.
Yep. You want to eat berries. Berries are better for they're not high in sugar like apples and bananas are.
Berries and nuts.
Yep.
So you have to do your research. If you need help, ask for it. There's plenty of diabetic education out here. You have Google. You have no excuse. So again, I want to really thank you, cuz for coming through the show to really motivate me, motivate the people, um to get their life together, to get their health together, um and do what's necessary. I named it again, against all odds. Is there something what does the balanced life look like for you?
Like a balanced life.
Yeah.
I mean, I think being able to obviously you got to work, work hard, play hard. I think what I mean. Like, try to work towards something, but always, definitely making sure that you can, have enough time with family. Make sure you have enough health for your family. I love spending time with my family. Whether it's my like immediate family, like cousins or brothers and stuff like that, or if it's my fraternal family with my fraternity brothers, sorority sisters, or my wife's family. You know what I mean? Like, I love spending time and having time. So I just think, having a good work life balance, make sure that you make time for that, but taking care of yourself so you can take advantage of those opportunities. You know, I think a lot of the times, especially us growing up, what I mean? I felt like when I was growing up, I'm the youngest. I don't know if people know that, but I'm the youngest out of all of us, So I just felt like every time we got together when I was a kid, it was because somebody passed away. To be honest with you, like we went to way too many funerals. I felt like growing up. You know what I'm saying? It was just like, man, like every 6 months, somebody then croaked to the left. I'm like, man, what happened? This, that, and the third, whether it was old age, whether it was health conditions, like Uncle Dennis passed. That one hit me hard when Uncle Dennis passed. You know what I mean? Because I didn't expect that one. It was just situation after situation. I just felt like every time we came together as family, it was somebody passing away. So taking care of our health and making sure that we can come together, outside of those type of situations. We still need to come together when that happens, but having the family reunions or just having just get-togethers, kicking it like that. Make sure you take care of your family because once you gone, you gone. And once they gone, they gone. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
whether you believe in reincarnation or not, who knows if somebody's gonna come back in this universe, you know?
What is something that people will be surprised to know about you?
Um, surprised to know about me? I don't know. That's on the spot quick. I don't know. Like I got on the Naruto show. I don't know if I'm a big nerd. I was a jock in high school and college, but like I'm actually a really big nerd. I love video games. I love anime. Um, you know what I mean? I can like talk about the Marvel universe for hours with people. Like I could talk about Marvel Universe and football at the same time if you really want to happen. I don't know. Like I guess I get that from like the nerdiness from my big brother, you know what I mean? Zeus, he was always been into stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, I'm like, I don't know, I just play too much. I'm childish when it comes down to it. Like, I love to have a good time.
Wow. So again, I'm proud of you. Keep up the good work. I'm always a phone call away, a
Oh yeah,
text message,
most
and
definitely.
this is how the conversation came up. Of like, look, I'm, you know, who do I know that I need to have a conversation with, and you was the first person um, that I reached out to, and we had a conversation back and forth
Yeah,
about where you are and where I need to go. And
yeah,
so, again, this is how this conversation today happened off
yeah,
of that conversation. So, I felt like the world needed to know, and some things need to be revealed so we could educate. And
yeah,
this is where the help comes from.
for sure.
Literally, you are one person away, one advice away, and one help away from where you need to be in your destiny. My destiny is big, and I don't want no cane. I don't want no sugar. I don't want none of that. I don't want nothing to stop me from getting on the plane that's about to take off. So again, I appreciate you. I love you. Again, everybody, please like, share, and subscribe to this. If you want to donate, again, the Cash App is up there. Um, do all we can to make sure that we all are living the best life we can. We only
Definitely.
got one. So take advantage of that. Again, we are out of time, But again, we believe in 6 degrees of separation. You are one person away, one advice away, one help away from where you need to be in your destiny. Again, I love you, cuz, and I'll talk to you soon.
Love you too. I'll talk to you later. All right. You be safe.
All right. You too. Bye
Later.
bye.